Avery Burns says, I don't even know if he'll make it to 2024. Like, he's just old, not even to be dark. I think presidents shouldn't be older than like 70. Your brain starts to go.
Again, not to be morbid, but listen, it's at least a 50% vote for Kamala Harris for a second term. Remember this, January 2029, he would be on the verge of his 87th birthday. I think people really need to understand that. For context, Dianne Feinstein went senile right around, 85, a year before he would be finished up as president. So that is a very real possibility. That's if he lives.
So finally, people are starting to talk about Biden's age and his mental capability right now. And I think it's a good thing for people to actually be bringing this up. And it's coming up actually on both sides of the aisle right now. Now, when I say on both sides of the aisle, I would say in the public. In the public sphere, a lot of people are starting to question Biden because it's not looking good. This man is literally possibly not going to make it through the next 2 years, 3 years of his life. I mean, just
I know. He's so frail and senile.
But if you just look at age statistics, is that he is on the back end of his life. He should be somewhere sipping sweet tea.
65 to 70 is when you could withdraw from your retirement funds, because that is when you should be retired.
Well, yeah, but he should be on the porch somewhere sipping tea.
Sweet tea.
Yeah, listening to feeling the breeze and listening to some old tunes. He doesn't need to be running the biggest corporation in the world, because the United States is really the biggest corporation in the world. He doesn't need to be running that. No. And so I'm glad that this is coming up. And honestly, with me being black, listen, I'm not voting for this. I'm not voting for this at all. But let's see why I, as a black person, am not voting for this.
Anytime I hear any of these freaking Democrats, Joe Biden in particular, talk about democracy and how committed they are to preserving our democracy, and yet they are not even going to allow debates in a Democratic primary, when you have a 70% of the country is like, we don't want you to run, dude. We want to evaluate our options, and you are just completely shutting that off.
So basically, as right now, I don't know if you heard, but they're not going to have any debates on the Democratic side. So basically, this is the only person that you can vote for. So they're not going to have.
Oh, there's nobody else running, you mean?
There's other people running, but they're not advertising them, and they're not going to have debates so they can debate Joe Biden.
They or not?
The Democratic Party. The Democrat Party.
Oh,
so you have
really?
the Republican Party and the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party has said that we're not going to do debates with other people. You remember when Trump ran and they had all the people on stage and things like that? Is that they are deciding that this is who they're going with.
Okay. So you mean they're trying to push him for another term?
Yeah, they're pushing him for another term.
Wow.
And so basically, so you have two other people.
Do you think it's because they're trying to make Kamala the president?
No, I don't think. I think they think that's a disaster. Also, I think I think honestly, ultimately, the other two people that are running, that have declared to run, they're a little maybe rogue. They have different opinions about things.
Right, different agenda.
Yeah, different agenda, different opinions about things, and that's what they don't want. And so Joe Biden just kind of, and honestly, if you really think about it,
forgets what they're supposed to be doing, so they could just remind him all the time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like he's like a puppet. I think it's like he's not running.
Where are we flying to today?
Yeah. What was my decision on that? Oh, yeah. Here you go.
Yeah. You need me to sign this? Okay.
Yeah.
But what is it?
Yeah. Exactly.
Only 38% of the Democratic base wants to renominate Joe Biden. 57% want someone else. 75% of Democrats wanted to renominate Obama back when it was Obama, and 50% of Democrats wanted to renominate Clinton. Joe Biden's vulnerabilities here are so great that really the only thing that is saving him, even in terms of the Democratic nomination, is a collusion between the media and the Biden campaign to convince voters that there are really no other options.
Most people don't want him. Not most people, but almost everyone doesn't want him, it sounds like. And so for him to be pushed upon people as far as the nominee, listen, I don't see, so really on the black side, I don't see how black people are going to vote for this. And a lot of black people are actually speaking out. It's like, this is not the person that we want. We don't think this is good for us. We don't think this is good for the country. And how could you vote for something as let's just say black people? How could you vote for something that you know is a train wreck?
It's hard to stay true to your party when they're not really giving you many options.
But there are people that are going to still vote for him because they're just true to their party. If you knew that the plane was going to crash and you had the ticket, would you still get on that plane and take the ride? Because this plane is going to crash.
But maybe they're looking at the vice president, the first woman president, the first black president, or not black president, black female president. This is going to be a family video. No woofing. No. You have to stop woofing. Lay down.
Anyway, her approval rating is actually lower than his approval rating. And so people like her less than like Joe Biden, if that's even possible. Yes, people like her less, if that's even possible.
You mean like the black community?
The black community didn't want her to begin with.
I didn't know
that. But people in general do not like Kamala Harris.
Washington Post interviewed a bunch of committed Democratic voters. These are Team Blue people from the Washington Post. They are lukewarm about picking Biden as their nominee, but many believe he may be the best hope of preventing a second Trump term. This first quote, they say, this is from Debbie Watson. She's a 66-year-old paralegal, and she is a Democratic Party volunteer. She said, I noticed in speeches when he gets off script and he starts to make mistakes. I'm worried about his health, and I don't know how much I like Vice President Kamala Harris if something happens to him. This is from a Fulton County Democratic Party leader and former mayoral candidate, Dante Carter. He said, when activists tell you we're having a tough time getting people to the polls, it's because people are still pissed off. When are you gonna do what you said you were gonna do? How do I go back into these neighborhoods where I told folks that this time it was going to be different, and I don't have any receipts to show the difference? Next quote from a local Democratic committee woman. I think my view is I'm not opposed. I'm not excited. Will I vote for him? Absolutely. Will I campaign for him? Of course. Am I thrilled? Am I giddy to see him run again? No.
So I would say that this is going to be one of those elections that it's going to be how many people can either side get out to vote. And because the Democrat Party doesn't have, the enthusiasm on their side, is that you're going to have the loyal people that are going to come out and vote. But to be honest with you, I think it's going to be a lot of people that just choose not to vote. I really do. And honestly, am I going to vote? Yes, I'm going to vote. But I'm voting for the Republican side if this is running. And listen, I'm not saying that I'm a total in the bag for the Trump, but honestly, I like Trump a whole lot better than I like this. The thing about Trump is that he's got a lot more energy than this guy.
Yeah.
And do I think that he's going to last a couple more years? Yes. Could he not? And could some freak happen? Absolutely, just because of his age also. But the thing is, like I said before, this guy Biden has one foot on the banana peel and the other foot, unfortunately, it seems like in the grave. And so, no, I would not do that.
He's mentally frail. He's physically frail.
And the media is hiding. The media has been trying to hide this from us the whole time. And the one thing that I wouldn't put past the media, if he does get a second term, if something really does happen to him, would we even really know? Would we know right then? Because
not
right
away? No.
Would they try to hide it for a while? Mm-hmm. And who would really be running the country at that point in time? Somebody that you voted for, or somebody that you don't know who's actually making the decisions there? Would it be Kamala Harris? Or would it be somebody who, because they don't trust Kamala Harris, the administration doesn't trust Kamala Harris, so would they have somebody else besides her running the country? And we don't know who's actually running the country.
I hope he lives a very long and a healthy life. My own grandfather's 91 years old, and he's doing great. Nobody's a fool about what could happen here at any moment. You're responsible for the world's nuclear arsenal. This is not a joke here. Let's not let Grandpa be CEO emeritus.
Yes.
And let him feel like he has a little bit of responsibility.
This is one of the biggest jobs in the world. And the thing is that do you want somebody negotiating on our behalf with other countries and in charge of the nuclear codes, the most important thing in the world? Do you want somebody negotiating that on our behalf that could be half asleep or not? I won't even remember what the conversation was, that they had an hour ago with someone.
Yeah. And it's not his fault. Brains are only good for so long. Dementia sets in. Everybody starts to slip after a certain age.
But I would say, what kind of arrogance do you have to have? Really, what kind of arrogance do you have to know that you really don't have it all there?
Yes. If you care enough about your country, then raise that white flag. Like
Yeah.
it's time to
Yeah.
just, bow out gracefully.
What type of narcissist and what type of arrogance would you have to just keep going on with this? And and even for the wife, everyone sees it. Like, it's not like it's a secret. It would be one thing if people weren't starting to bring this up, but everyone's starting to bring this up.
Because it's gotten worse in the last 2 years, like noticeably worse.
Yes.
I believe a Kamala presidency would plunge the world into war. I'm not being hyperbolic. I do not try. I think she might be one of the most irresponsible, not even about, leave alone like qualifications on paper. She has shown us very clearly, not a good steward of the nation, not a good politician, unable to connect with people, bad decision making, bad staff turnover. It would be like Andrew Johnson 2.0. Like, I think it would be a complete nightmare for
I think
this
it's
country.
very scary.
And people should really think about that.
The whole Kamala thing is that, no, I don't trust her either. I've seen some of her speeches, and they've been terrible. I think that she tries to pander, but some people are good at pandering, but she is terrible at pandering. She's absolutely terrible. And do you think that anybody on the national stage is going to take her seriously? This is
I
not
haven't
it.
really seen her like do anything. That's the other thing is like Trump when he was in office, like I would see Mike Pence like doing stuff. And I would see him speaking, I would see him, but I feel like I don't really ever see her.
It seems like every time that she's been out, that she has stuck her foot in her mouth. And so I think they really try to hide her too and make her appearances very limited and try to make them very scripted. Because anytime that she's been out and she's really just been on the loose with talking, it's just not ending up good. It's just been a newsreel that people can just run as just a blooper. And the bad thing about her is that she's in her right mind. The Democrat Party, this
Train,
is my stop.
yeah.
The Democrat Party train, I'm getting off
Train
of
has
this
come
stop.
to a stop.
I'm gonna wait for either somebody else, a Republican train to come through, or an independent train, but definitely this train I'm getting off of.